Good evening, friends. Warm welcome to one and all for the third session of the Super 25 program, India's largest online stock traders conference. The topic of today's discussion is systematic trading for ETFs. We have a very experienced speaker today, Mr. Vivek Gadodia, who is the co-founder of Dravyaniti Consulting. He has very rich experience in technology, trading, and also financial markets. He is a man from a commerce background and masters in management. Let's hear from him. Sir, the stage is yours. Thank you very much for being a part of Super 25. You're ready to go. Vivek.
Oh, great. Hi, Ashok, and hello to everyone attending. And thanks for having me as part of the show. So what I'm going to, I just hope it's visible clearly, the presentation slide. So what I'm doing is going to just delve right into the session.
It's perfect, sir. Go ahead.
Great. So, I think there's a little bit navigation issue with the PPT. It's not clicking. Just a second.
We are unable to see the presentation. We are still seeing the front page, India's largest conference, session 3. Your
Yeah,
screen
I
is,
think there is a navigation issue, not able to navigate. Do I
you
have
just
the
have
rights to
to,
do that?
you just have to run the PPT. You minimize that, you minimize the screen, go to your PPT and run it. That's it. You have you opened your PPT on your laptop? No, you can't do that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, in fact, you can run the PPT from your this one also, from your local machine
Right.
normally without using GoToWebinar. All right, sir, go ahead. The stage is yours.
Right. So, okay. So, yeah, this is just a little bit about my background. So, I have basically been in the trading technology space in the financial markets. I'm managing the DNC portfolio at Dravyaniti Consulting, which is basically a portfolio of non-correlated strategies. So basically, in simple words, non-correlated strategies is like strategies which are complementary to each other. So we may have like a directional strategy and a non-directional strategy, so that they complement each other. I've been into running trading systems from 2012 December. So that's where I started running systems live. Programmed in various languages, and off late I'm mostly working more on Python. I'm a visiting faculty at the BSc Training Institute, and where I take the Algo course. And basically, I've built systems on various asset classes like equities, futures, options, forex, commodities, and ETFs. And I have a background commerce and the MBA and applied finance course. Okay, so what's going to be the agenda for the talk today? We are basically going to look at first market bubbles. Then we will look at some phases in markets where markets crash. I don't need to give, luckily for me, in not the best of things to happen, but markets always crash, and there's been a very recent crash that we have all witnessed. So if the stock was somewhere in 2017 bull run or in the middle of 2019, we tend to forget that markets do crash from time to time, but that's very recent memory for a lot of all of us. Then we'll just look at ETFs briefly in a little bit of background of ETFs in US and India. Then we look at a simple rule-based system for buying and selling the ETFs. Like, so it's basically a long only system which will have a buy signal in the ETF and an exit in the ETF. So we'll look at the rules for that. We'll see some backtesting of the on the ETFs with some results, and then we will look at a little bit of a portfolio of various ETFs. Okay, so well, the first recorded bubble kind of in history is known as the tulip mania. So the tulip is basically a flower, and which is also known as bulbs. And this was in the Dutch in Netherlands, in somewhere in the 1636, 1637. Now you can look at the prices at the way prices for tulips had risen. It was in November at about say close to 10 or 15. From there it goes right up to 200 odd in February, and so that's almost like a hundred-fold rise. It was, I think, yeah, actually close to two in November or lower. Goes about 100 times in a short span of 2 to 3 months, and then you see that the prices crash. Now, such was the phase or the mania, so to say, at that point that the highest sold price for one tulip was equal to basically the what a merchant there would earn in about 2 or 3 years, or it would be equivalent to months or years of salaries of the average person. So people were ready to pay that much for a tulip. It was considered very prestigious to like own a tulip flower. Now, uh, what's so significant or insignificant about putting this? Now, what this means is that we have basically been seeing these kind of manias and bubbles right since 1600s, and the tulips was one example, but we are more concerned with obviously stock markets, right? So whether it is tulips, that is the flowers, or stocks, the prices are basically driven by two things. The very core thing, which is demand and supply of price. So, in very very simple terms, whenever the demand is more than the supply, the prices rise. So we have seen various phases of markets where the markets just have keep on going up, and that basically is nothing where a phase where the demand is simply more than the supply. So reasons for that are various. Like we'll see a little bit about that in as we go forward also. But in simple terms, when demand is more than supply, prices go up. Now, when does price fall? Simply when the supply is more than demand. It's as simple as that, where at a particular price, when the supply goes more than what is demanded. So say the people who are ready to pay that price are now no longer willing to pay that price. All of those people are not willing to pay that price. Some of them are willing to maybe pay it, but there are more people, or you can say more quantity totally, which is being offered to be sold at that price than the number of total quantity which is being demanded at that price. When you have a condition like that, basically the price falls. The price starts to fall. So this is a monthly chart of the Dow Jones from about 1985 Jan till May 2020. We can see that the starting value here of Dow was about 1266 in Jan 85, and the ending value, which is as of May 2020, is about 23,900 approximately. So on a longer term frame, markets have gone up. Like this is basically like almost a 24 time gain in 35 years, right? But can we notice that is it like a gain in one straight upward line? Absolutely not. So we have had basically a phase where you can say between 1985 to 2000, right? The market very sharply rose. So it reached about 10,000 in a span of about 15 years. So that's like about 7 or 8 times in 15 years. So that's a pretty exponential gain. And this also includes like the crash of October 87, which we will look at a little later. So apart from, one or two bearish periods like this 87, and in 97 there was a crisis, a currency crisis, and apart from these 2 or 3 bearish periods, it's mostly market has been going up. The Dow Jones went up, right? Then from 2000 to 2009, if you see, it's broadly speaking, it's in a range. So we then got in 2000, 2001, we got the dot-com crash. So from 10,000 odd, the markets went to close to about 6,000 odd. And after spending 2-3 years in that entire crash correction, then we had this massive rally between 2004 to 2007, where there was globally rally in equities, and all markets across the world, equity markets went up exponentially. Even India had a massive phase where there was a lot of boom, and money supply was very easy, and markets just went up. Post that, we've got a huge crash called the GFC, so which we will I don't think I have a slide on that, but basically the 2008 crash is still pretty fresh in memory of whoever have been in the markets for about 15-20 years. So before this recent crash which we got in our markets, we had seen that a lot of people who had probably just entered in the recent years were just selling volatility and even writing naked options, because from that period, we in the last few years before this crash, we had seen a largely low volatile environment or phase, which Ashok was just mentioning before, like where in 2017 we saw suddenly the VIX drop to 10, and we saw that entire 2017 remained like a very, very low volatile environment with some spikes in 18, 19, but as a whole, for apart from 2015, a brief period, and 2013, largely in the last 8 to 10 years before this crash, we had seen a low volatile environment. So basically, the 2008 crash was very, very sharp, at about 65% fall in about this period of about a year in the US, and in Indian markets from January 2008 to about October. In about 10 months, we saw a very, very sharp crash. But if you largely see, even in 2009, there was a recovery, but this whole 10-year period was flat.